Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is SeaTactics for the win, otherwise known as Ben, and I'm here today to finally talk about Hunter x Hunter. This episode, or rather this series, was promised months and months ago, but because of all of the strikes and because of just how difficult it is to actually get yourself back on track after you're getting your channel terminated, well, this series was kind of put on hold for a hot minute. Also, this is a series that is basically Patreon exclusive, kind of. It has, well, basically you get this series ad-free and about a week or so early if you're a follower, or what do you call people who, a patron backer on my Patreon. It just, all you have to do is $1 gets you literally everything in every single tier, and there's only two. There's one, the $5 tier. $5 tier is just an extra option if you want to give me more. So that is what this series is for, but we're not here to talk about that. I just had to get that out of the way so you guys know what's going on if you're confused. But we are talking about Hunter x Hunter. So I had to go back and I had to find my notes on this, and I'm not even sure if these are all of the notes. In fact, they don't look like they're all of them, but I literally had to sit down and do this video, otherwise I'm not going to go back and rewatch this. I went back and rewatched the first arc of this 2 times. So this is the Hunter exam arc. And this is kind of like my thoughts on the beginning of like my kind of like journey through Hunter x Hunter, or Hunter x Hunter. I know people are very, very big in the Hunter x Hunter community. One of my friends himself is very big within the Hunter x Hunter community. Sasuke the Savage, go check him out if you haven't already. He's got some of the best Hunter x Hunter videos, if I dare say so myself, even though I can't watch any of them. But he has great videos anyways, so I know those videos are even better. So, you know, if you want someone who's an expert on this, go subscribe and watch his videos. If you're gonna watch my videos on this is more of like a vlog. Like, it's just my thoughts on it so far. This is something that I kind of want to do. I just want to go through each arc and then talk about each arc after I watch them, and I had to get all that out of the way. By the way, this is a live commentary, so I'm not going to be editing any of this out. But I guess we should go ahead and start by telling, for the people who are watching along with me, or who are just interested in, you know, knowing what this series is. Hunter x Hunter is about, well, it's in this world where there are hunters, and these hunters basically do anything. They go around, you know, searching for criminals. They go around finding treasures. They go around and perform tasks they are paid to do, basically. They're not exactly mercenaries, but they're oddly similar to that in some respects. So our main character, his name is Gon. He's this little boy. He's like 10, 11, 12, something like that. And his father went missing, I think it was years and years ago. And his father was also once a hunter himself. So Gon's idea is to become a hunter and search for his father. But it won't be easy for him because he has to go through the hunter exam, which is the arc that we are covering. And I think the Hunter exam is episodes 1 through 22, 21, 23, something like that. And it's super interesting. And one of the great things about this show I like already is how kind of slow it went. I know people have qualms about how slow the Hunter exam arc is. Actually, myself, I really enjoyed sitting down and just like watching 20-something episodes of fairly slow-paced kind of build, and that's kind of because I think I was just in the mood for it. I think in any other mindset, I probably wouldn't be in the mood for this, but since I was in the mood for it, I actually kind of enjoyed it. Like, I watched this. Once again, I watched the whole first arc 2 times, almost back to back. I watched it one with my good buddy, Bill. We got in the Discord server chat and we watched it together. And then I forgot about it for like a month, and I was like, oh god, I gotta rewatch this. I remember almost nothing because I gotta make this video. And since then, it's been a couple months as well. So I'm going off about a couple months, but I have seen it 2 times. And what I love about it is that, yeah, it's slow, because I don't know why. I don't know why I actually like it that way. I think it's because it gives characters more development. They kind of have more staying power. You have more time to think about what you just saw. And I'm not sure what the next arcs will hold in terms of the pacing, but I completely understand when people say that the pacing for the first arc is a little weird and wonky. The first thing I noticed in this show is that the series is just surprisingly violent. I mean, just like one of the big examples is in, I think, one of the exams is they have to jump off this cliff into this like cavern type thing, this big hole basically, and they have to time it just right for a gust of wind to push them up to grab these eggs. And I love this scene. This scene is one of the scenes that sticks with me through the first arc so far, because when this is the part where it kind of dawned on me that, wow, the series is rather violent. Like, it really just doesn't care, like, at all what it does to these characters, and it will kill all sorts of characters, because someone jumps down and they immediately die, and it's like, well, that's the end of that. Because I also think it's because in shonen these days, you're so used to not exactly being, sugar coated or whatever you want to call it. It's more of like they all nothing like. It's not really as gritty as this. This world is in many ways kind of gritty, and I really enjoy that because it's just different. It's got a different tone to it. It's much darker. You can really appreciate that as well. And I hope that when characters die in this show, the important characters, they stay dead. Because I remember, watching Naruto and Sakura dying like 500 times, especially against that puppet fight, which that puppet fight was awesome. But, she gets stabbed point blank in the stomach, and you're like, well, that's the end of it. And no, it's not. It keeps going for another 5 episodes or whatever it was. And another one, when Kakashi, you think he's dead. When he gets shot in the head by some magical ninja thing. And it turns out, no, he's alive. He just used his Sharingan or whatever it was. I can't remember exactly. I don't think those are spoilers, but, well, those are technically spoilers, but I don't think anyone cares. In a video about Hunter x Hunter, sorry if you do, but I like that. I like that a lot about this series. This series is very, it's smart. It's a very smart written series, I think. So let's just talk about some of the characters. For Gon, he's like kind of your basic character style, but he's more of like the anchor of this show. A very common shonen kind of character he is in many ways. He leaves his homeworld. He's on the hero's journey. He starts at home. He leaves his home to go find greater riches, or to first, in this case, find his father, and then eventually maybe he's gonna come back. He's he's very determined to be successful and find his father. That's for certain, and he's very upbeat about it. And I also want to make this very, very apparent. I watched the sub and the dub. So I've seen both Erica Mendez and what's her name? Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Megumi Han. I've seen both of their versions, and I think Gon with Erica Mendez and Megumi Han, they're both perfect. So like immediately in this show, he quickly becomes friends with Killua, and Killua and Gon are kind of like this kind of like name a more iconic duo. At least so far, that's what it seems like. Where Gon and Killua really likes Gon, and Gon really likes Killua, and they're inseparable good buds. And I really kind of like their kind of dynamic between the two, because Killua, the way he acts around Gon, it seems like he doesn't act that way around anybody else. And later on, of course, in this arc, you find out he's kind of tortured. In some ways, he's a little rebellious as well, because his family is a bunch of assassins, and he's a former assassin himself, and the family still wants him to be an assassin, and they don't like how he turned away from that life. And Killua is also very scary. He has certain powers that are you don't. Killua may look like a cute kid who couldn't hurt a fly, but he most definitely could, and that's kind of interesting about Killua. But going back to Gon, I think Gon's biggest aspect, besides his hopefulness, is his curious, naive, this good-hearted, innocent kind of feeling to him, and I think that's kind of what makes him stand out, because there's not really many more characters like Gon. I think kind of like the most opposite is actually Killua in many ways, in terms of, similar kind of character types, because Killua is kind of like he's around the same age as Gon, and he kind of wants to be like Gon. Like, he wants to have this kind of carefree life, a life that he with his family would never be able to have, and Gon is living the way he wants to. He's doing what he wants to, and I think Killua enjoys that very much. And his fighting style is very, very weird. He has a fishing rod, and he uses that fishing rod a lot, and he uses his fists. And he has a very unorthodox fighting style. He reminds me of a combination between Gohan and early Dragon Ball Goku, kind of. It's a very weird combination. And the fishing rod just, completes his look as well. Gon has a very nice look. He's a green boy. His hair has this weird green shade to it. He's got spiky green hair. And I wouldn't expect anything less. Let's talk about Kurapika. I like Kurapika. Kurapika is probably one of my favorite characters out of the four, because Kurapika, I don't know, he's the smart one, he's the smart one of the group. He's kind of this vengeful character. He wants revenge for his whole tribe being destroyed, and I find that super compelling in a character, and it really fits in the dynamic of these four. Besides, oh god, what's his name? How do I forget these characters' names? Leorio. Leorio is kind of the one that doesn't really get that much attention, but Kurapika, I almost get him confused with Killua. Kurapika he's an awesome character, because he has this tormented past where his whole tribe is wiped out and he wants revenge. But that doesn't, you would think that happening in his life would bring him down the wrong path. Not exactly. He's a very loyal character. He's very loyal to Gon. He's very loyal to Leorio. And Kurapika, he's loyal to himself, I guess. Killua. And I like that. He's not a very whiny character. He doesn't whine about what happened to him. He's very much a guy who's smart. He stands up for himself. He has this really interesting and compelling arc, and he can also, he can conjure these weapons, which is really cool. He reminds me a lot of Archer from Fate, and I'm going to bring this up again, but, everything eventually comes around to Fate, which is really weird for me. I always bring up Fate when I'm talking about animes. So let's just talk about Leorio. He kind of reminds me of Vash from Trigun, and I think I have this down here because I was watching Trigun while I was watching this for Anime Friday Season 5. But his design looks very much like, Vash from Trigun. I'm not saying it's like a carbon copy or anything like that. It's just, vaguely similar. So Leorio, he was unable to save his friends. He's very kind. He gets defeated a lot because he's the weakest. He's kind of just a guy. He's just a dude. And he has this... Leorio, to me, he has this weird dynamic where he's not important alone, but with other characters, he's more important. He kind of gets lost in the background a bit in this first arc because he is just a dude. And I think I don't even think it's a bad thing about him. It's just the way his character works, and the way the dynamic works, is that he just wants to be a hunter. He doesn't really have that, he doesn't really have like a dark past. He hasn't had all of his friends and family killed. He's not looking for his father. He just wants to be a hunter. I think he's also like like a medic kind of guy, like a medic class, like in Battlefield or something like that. I can't remember exactly. Let's talk about Killua now, who's probably also one of my favorite characters. They're all pretty great. Oh my god. His family is very interesting. Like I said earlier, his family is full of assassins, and they want him to be assassin. He loves Gon very much, and he can like use his hand like a blade. He can like I don't know. It looks like he can like pull all the blood into like his hand and like make it really sharp. And very hard and just slice people, and that makes him very, very scary to me. And I get the feeling his character has much more importance in the grand scheme of the show. I think right now, he has this rebellious kind of attitude, and he's going on this arc of kind of like, not, trying to get away from his parents, but I feel like the way his character is written, there's something more about him that I think in the next couple arcs that I will, and hopefully we all will figure out and be like, oh, so that's kind of like what his character is. Just some tidbits. I like the orange soda guy. I thought he was really funny. He basically goes around and poisons these guys, so that. I think he's part of the exam or something like that, or basically he just like wants to poison people for like just for his own personal reasons or whatever it is, and I find that just really funny for some reason. He has this orange soda, and he's like, "Hey, have some orange soda," and I think Killua drinks the whole thing, and he doesn't even flinch because, of course, he's an assassin and he's trained to not be poisoned. And Killua knows instantly. I think at one point he confronts him. That's a really fun part. Another fun part is I think they have to do, maybe it's like a cooking challenge. That was pretty interesting. And when they have to go to the gate. When they go to the gate and they won't let him in, and Gon's like, I'll just climb over the damn thing, and gets a rope and tries to climb over it. And they go, I think they eventually get in, and they see this huge beast, and it just looks super cool. There's a lot of actually cool little tidbits in this arc that I really, really like. I like when they fight the people inside of the tower, and they take turns. I love that fight. It was very slow, but I still enjoyed it. I thought it was entertaining. This whole first arc got me really excited to watch more of it. And sadly, I haven't been able to watch more, but, now I will be, of course, because I'm doing this video, because I know I'll have more time to watch it. So, I must say, this show, I didn't think it was going to be as good as people said it was. But not only did it surprise me, it kind of went a little bit above expectations for me, because I expected just a regular run-of-the-mill shonen, and that's what I got. Kind of. In some respects, it has some aspects of a shonen, of course. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And it's not surprising, but there's something about it that it's so compelling and so interesting, and I feel very stupid for not watching this earlier. And I'm really glad I am starting to watch it. I know that there's been a whole bunch of issues with the manga and stuff like that, and how it's not the anime technically is unfinished, and that kind of sucks. And it's really hard to get the dub. I think the only way you can get the dub is either through Hulu or pirating it or buying it on Blu-ray, which kind of sucks. I hope they make the dub available, because the dub is actually, I'm a person, you will talk to people and they will say, SeaTactics, that guy just really favors dubs, and I do. I will not deny that. But this dub is really good. It's got some great talent. Erica Mendez. That should be that should be like, an immediate, kind of flag that pops up, a green flag, a green check mark that pops up and says, yeah, this is good. Let's go watch it. And I must say, if you haven't already and you're even vaguely interested in this series, or you like shonen, or if you want to see if you can get back into it, pick up Hunter x Hunter. It's super good. Super good, you guys. Really good stuff. Definitely check it out. I highly recommend it. So, with that being said, the next release date for my next part, where I talk about the next arc after the Hunter exam arc, I'm not sure when that will go up, but there will be an announcement on Twitter and my Patreon. So if you're already on my Patreon, you'll get like an email, hopefully, when I make a post about that. And just follow me on Twitter, where I will talk about that there as well. So yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. This was fun to make. Hunter x Hunter fans, please go easy on me. I'm not exactly trying to be the best Hunter x Hunter breakdown guy here. I'm just talking about the series. That's kind of what I'm doing. I'm adding some extra content for my patrons. This is not exactly, I'm not the expert of Hunter x Hunter here. So if you would be nice, a little accommodating, I would appreciate it. And if I miss something, definitely call me out on it. I would appreciate that as well, because it has been 2 months since I watched this, and I don't want to make any mistakes. And if I make mistakes, I want to know about it so I can better myself. So, with that being said, I appreciate you all watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, and you're probably not a Patreon, and you can get this like a week or so early, ad-free, forever, if you just follow me on Patreon me for, I don't know. I'm running out of time on this thing. Bye!